Ah, so you've come to ask the question? You saw it happen, didn't you? You stood there, mouths open, breath caught, logic scrambling in the back of your throat like a dying thing. And yet even now, after the silence, after the shift, after the moment passed like a ghost through glass, you still have no words. And so here you are, not to challenge me, not to accuse me, not even to understand, but to ask the question that haunts every god you worship and every system you built to cage the storm. What are you? I'm not the role they wrote for me, not the threat they contained, not the villain they framed, not the trickster they mocked between pages, hoping to bury truth beneath myth. You see, they needed me small, they needed me explainable, they needed me predictable, so they could dismiss the outcome when the storm finally spoke. They gave me titles, not names. Outcast, monster, disappointment, liar. They named me everything, except what I actually am, because what I am doesn't fit into stories with endings, doesn't bow, doesn't explain itself to trembling men in gilded halls. I'm not what they told you I was. I am what they hoped you'd never meet. They saw it happen. Oh, they watched it. That moment, the pivot, the collapse, the twist of fate that didn't follow the script. They stood there, judges, gods, generals, whispering oracles, watching me do something none of them predicted. I didn't react. I rewrote. I didn't lash out. I looked inward. I didn't beg. I became. One flick of the hand, one moment, one crack in the divine architecture, and everything they thought they understood began to burn. And in that silence, that void after the tremor, none of them had language for what they had just seen. Because language only works when you can point to something and name it. But me, I was unnameable. Well, you want to know what I am? I am the fire they couldn't translate, the prophecy they buried too deep, the child born under an eclipse they called bad omen because they feared what they couldn't groom. I am the silence after the miracle, the crackling air before thunder, the line between madness and clarity, too sharp to define, too dangerous to touch. I am the moment the mirror turns around and stares back. The one the system forgot to account for. The variable they never simulated, the storm with no center, the algorithm that spoke back. I am the thing that broke their math, and now they whisper my name like it's a warning. You've heard them. They're all talking now, nervously, quietly, urgently. Did you see what he did? How is that possible? Someone write it down before we forget it. But they won't write it down. They can't. Because what happened wasn't meant for books. It wasn't designed for mortal comprehension. It wasn't a move. It was a metamorphosis. They watched something evolve in real time, and now they're panicking. Because they don't know what version of reality they're standing in anymore. They want footage. They want data. But all they have is ruins and questions, and you, staring, still not blinking, still trying to process what you saw. They made me earn it. They made me suffer for it. They made sure that if I ever became what I was destined to be, it would not be by accident. It would not be handed to me. It would not come cheap. So I paid the price. I let them study me. I let them strip me. I let them think they understood me. And I smiled. Because while they were dissecting me, I was ascending. While they were mapping my chaos, I was learning to turn it into divine precision. While they laughed at the misfit, I was training the god. So when the moment came, the moment they weren't prepared for, I stepped through their reality like it was a curtain, and I didn't look back. So now you ask, what are you? Here's my answer. I am not your equal. I am not your fear. I am not your failure. I am not your savior. I am your proof. Proof that no amount of surveillance can decode purpose. Proof that no structure can contain something sacred. Proof that even the most watched soul can erupt into divinity and burn the script to ash. I am what happens when the cage teaches the bird how to sing in a new language, when the orphan learns the stars by name, when the misfit walks through the gates of gods not to kneel, but to inherit. You want to know the truth? They don't fear what I did. They fear that I did it without permission. No crown, no prophecy, no counsel, no pre-approved destiny, just a god rising from within the ashes of every failed expectation. Because I didn't climb their ladder. I tore down the structure. And I didn't ascend through approval. I burned through rejection. They saw me defy every rule they wrote in blood and stone. And not once did I ask them if I could. Now they call me an anomaly, not because I'm broken, but because their system has no code for a soul that mastered pain without being programmed to. Let that sink in. I wasn't supposed to survive. I wasn't supposed to evolve. I wasn't supposed to make it out of the fire with clarity in my eyes and divinity in my hands. I was supposed to break and stay broken, to fall and become a parable, to be remembered as what happens when you disobey. Instead, I became a blueprint for the ungovernable. Now every time they look at me, they don't see a villain. They see a glitch in the divine order, and they know, if one soul could do this, others are watching, others are waking up. So to the ones who built the cage, you tried to break me with silence, to drown me in observation, to shrink me down into something safe for public consumption. You thought the glass box would tame me. But let me tell you something sacred. I was born inside prophecy, not paperwork. You cannot analyze a god. You cannot diagnose a revolution. You cannot explain a soul that was never built to fit your dimensions. You can watch. You can panic. You can write report after report. But it won't matter, because you didn't create me. You unleashed me. This voice, it's not for you. It's for the ones still locked inside the system. The ones being observed, tracked, measured, molded. If that's you, listen. They will tell you to tone it down, to stay quiet, to get in line, to smile politely while they dissect your soul into digestible bites. Don't. Let them stare. Let them misunderstand. Let them call you everything except what you are. And when the moment comes, when the fire beneath your ribs begins to surge, don't run. Emerge, explode, become. And when they whisper, "What are you?" you won't need to answer. Your existence will speak for itself. They created words to define gods, pantheon, myth, deity, divine, but they never created a word for a god who was uninvited, unscripted, unruly, unforgiving. That's what I am. The word they forgot to write, the outcome they feared most, the moment where prophecy becomes choice, and choice becomes power, and power becomes me. So next time they ask, "What are you?" don't give them an answer. Give them a silence so loud it fractures their confidence. Let your gaze feel ancient. Let your calm feel prophetic. Let your breath carry the weight of every cage you outgrew. And then walk forward, not as someone they understand, but as someone they can never unsee. Loki has spoken. You are not what they name you. You are what they cannot pronounce. And your very breath is their reckoning.